Have you ever been completely exhausted until your head touches the pillow? All day, you were tired, you wanted rest, you promised yourself, "Tonight, I'm going to sleep early." But then the lights go off. The room gets quiet, your phone is finally down, and suddenly your brain opens every tab at once. A conversation from 3 days ago. A mistake from last year. Something you should have said differently. Something that might happen tomorrow. A random memory you didn't ask for. A future problem that doesn't even exist yet. And the strangest part is, during the day, you may look completely fine. You answer messages, you do what you need to do, you laugh, you function. But at night, when there's nothing left to distract you, your mind starts acting like it has unfinished business. Here's what most people miss. This doesn't mean you're weak, dramatic, or broken. It usually means your brain has learned to stay alert when things get quiet. Your mind is not trying to ruin your night. It may be trying to protect you from something it never fully processed. So stay with this, because once you understand why your mind gets so loud at night, you stop fighting yourself like you're the enemy. And that is where the real shift begins. What we're talking about is nighttime overthinking. The moment your nervous system finally has space. And your mind starts sorting through every worry, memory, fear, and possibility it pushed aside during the day. But there's another layer to this. The same mental system that replays old conversations at night can also create entire imaginary scenes in your head. Arguments that never happened. Romantic moments that don't exist. Future confrontations. Perfect comebacks. Worst case outcomes. We'll save that deeper pattern for the next video, because it explains something most people quietly do but rarely admit. For now, let's pull apart the science of why your mind refuses to shut off when your body is begging for rest. Number 1. Your brain finally has no distractions. During the day, your attention has somewhere to go. Messages, school, work, chores, noise, people, screens, deadlines, small decisions, tiny emergencies. Your brain keeps moving because the outside world keeps feeding it information. But at night, the inputs drop. The room is quiet, the lights are low, nobody needs an answer right now. And that silence creates space. Looks like this. You lie down. And within minutes, your mind starts replaying things you didn't even think were bothering you. Why it happens? Your brain has a default mode that becomes more active when you're not focused on a task. It starts reflecting, remembering, predicting, connecting dots. That can be useful. It helps you learn from the past and prepare for the future. But wait, here's the strange part. If your emotional system has been holding stress all day, silence doesn't feel peaceful at first. It feels like an opening, and everything that was pushed down finally comes up. The cost is that your bed becomes associated with thinking instead of resting. Your body is lying down, but your brain is clocking in for a second shift. The switch. Don't wait until bedtime to process your day. Give your brain a small, worry window, earlier. 5 minutes. Write down what's unfinished, what matters tomorrow, and what can wait. You're not solving your whole life. You're showing your brain, "I heard you before the lights went off." Number 2. Your nervous system may not feel safe enough to relax. This one is important. Sometimes the issue is not that you have too many thoughts. Sometimes the issue is that your body does not believe it is safe to stop scanning. Looks like this. You're tired, but your chest feels tight. Your jaw is tense. Your stomach feels uneasy. You keep checking the time. Which makes you more awake? You tell yourself, "Sleep now," but your body does the opposite. Why it happens? The nervous system is built to protect you. If it has learned that quiet moments are when problems appear, criticism happens, conflict starts, or emotions become too loud, then rest can feel unfamiliar. For some people, this comes from growing up around unpredictability. Maybe moods changed quickly. Maybe you had to read the room. Maybe you learned to notice tiny shifts in tone, silence, or facial expressions. That kind of alertness can become automatic. Here's what most people miss. Hyper-awareness often begins as intelligence. It begins as adaptation. Your brain learned, if I notice everything, I can prepare. That is the superpower inside the struggle. You may be deeply observant. You may catch patterns quickly. You may sense emotional changes before others do. But the cost is heavy. A skill that once helped you feel prepared can become a habit that keeps you awake. The switch. Instead of forcing calm, signal safety. Make your night routine predictable. Same light level, same final drink of water, same sound, same phrase. Something simple like, nothing needs to be solved right now. Your body learns through repetition more than logic. Number 3. Nighttime overthinking is often emotional digestion. Think of your mind like a stomach. If you eat too fast, digestion gets uncomfortable later. Emotion works similarly. If you rush through the day without feeling anything fully, your mind may try to digest it at night. Looks like this. You don't cry during the stressful moment. You don't react during the awkward conversation. You don't say you were hurt. You keep moving. Then, at midnight, your mind brings it back with extra intensity. Why it happens? During the day, many people use control to function. They tell themselves, not now, and sometimes that's necessary. You can't always process emotions in real time. But it gets weirder. The brain does not always know the difference between, I'll deal with this later, and, this is still unresolved. So later, when your guard drops, the emotional file reopens. The cost is that small events feel huge at night. A text message feels like rejection. A delayed reply feels like proof. A mistake feels like identity. Nighttime can distort scale because your tired brain has less energy to regulate emotions. The switch. Name the emotion before you analyze the story. Instead of asking, why did they say that? What does it mean? What if they hate me? Try, what am I feeling right now? Maybe it's embarrassment, disappointment, uncertainty, loneliness, pressure. Once you name the emotion, the mind often lowers the volume. Not because everything is fixed, but because the feeling is no longer knocking from the outside. Number 4. Your brain confuses thinking with control. This is one of the biggest traps. Overthinking feels productive because it gives you the illusion of movement. You're not physically doing anything, but mentally, you're running simulations. Looks like this. You plan tomorrow in extreme detail. Then you plan what you'll do if that plan fails. Then you rehearse what someone might say. Then you rehearse your response. Then you criticize the response. Then you restart. Why it happens? Uncertainty is uncomfortable. The brain likes closure. When it cannot get closure, it often chooses prediction. The wild part is, your mind may prefer a scary answer over no answer at all. Because at least a scary answer feels like something to hold. The cost is that you become tired before the day even begins. You spend tomorrow's energy tonight. You wake up not only sleepy, but emotionally preloaded. The switch. Separate planning from spinning. Planning has a next step. Spinning has another loop. A plan sounds like, I'll email them at 9. A loop sounds like, but what if they think I'm annoying? And then what if they respond coldly? And then what if? When you catch a loop, don't shame yourself. Say, this is my brain asking for certainty. Then give it one next step. Not 10 imaginary futures. And if this kind of clarity helps, you'll probably like what we do here. This channel is about making the hidden patterns in your mind easier to understand, without making you feel defective for having them. Number 5. Night removes your daytime identity. During the day, you have roles. Student, friend, worker, sibling, partner, helper, funny one, responsible one, busy one. At night, those roles get quiet. Nobody is watching. Nobody is asking you to perform. And when performance drops, deeper thoughts rise. Looks like this. You suddenly question your life, your relationships, your future, whether people really like you, whether you're falling behind, whether you're becoming the person you hoped you would be. Why it happens? Nighttime can bring you closer to the parts of yourself you avoid during the day. Not because the night is dangerous, but because quietness reveals what busyness covers. Here's the part nobody likes to admit. Sometimes we don't fear our thoughts. We fear what our thoughts might be trying to tell us. Maybe you're not only anxious about tomorrow. Maybe you're exhausted from pretending something doesn't bother you. Maybe the mind won't shut off because a part of you wants honesty. The cost is that you start treating self-reflection like an emergency. Every thought feels urgent. Every doubt feels like a sign. Every feeling demands an answer immediately. The switch. Create a boundary with your own mind. You can respect a thought without obeying its timing. Try this. This may matter. But midnight is not the meeting time. That sentence does something subtle. It doesn't dismiss your mind. It postpones the conversation with kindness. Mid-tease. And this connects directly to something we'll explore next. Why your brain sometimes creates fake scenarios with such detail that they feel emotionally real. Because the mind doesn't only replay the past. It also rehearses imagined futures to create emotional control. That pattern deserves its own deep dive. But for now, remember this. The goal is not to delete your thoughts. The goal is to stop treating every thought as a command. Imagine someone named Maya. Maya has a normal day. Nothing dramatic happens. She goes through her classes, answers messages, gets some work done, jokes with a friend, eats dinner, scrolls for a while, and tells herself she'll sleep early. At 11:20, she turns off the light. At 11:23, her brain says, "Remember that moment earlier when your friend replied with only one word?" Maya opens her eyes. She tells herself, "It's nothing," but the mind keeps going. Maybe they're annoyed. Maybe I said too much yesterday. Maybe I'm becoming clingy. Maybe I should have acted more casual. Then her brain pulls up evidence. A different tone, a delayed reply, a look from last week, a memory from 2 years ago when someone suddenly became distant. Now she's not thinking about one message. She's thinking about every time she felt replaceable. That's the hidden jump. Nighttime overthinking often begins with a small trigger, then travels to an old emotional theme. The message is not really the message. The silence is not really the silence. The plan is not really the plan. It becomes a doorway into something older: fear of being misunderstood, fear of being too much, fear of falling behind, fear of not being safe unless everything is figured out. So Maya does what most overthinkers do. She tries to solve the feeling by solving the story. She drafts a message in her head, deletes it, rewrites it, imagines their response, imagines herself acting unaffected, imagines an argument, imagines them apologizing, imagines not caring. And by midnight, she has lived through 5 emotional movies without leaving her bed. But the shift happens when she pauses and asks, "What is this really about?" Not, "What does their one-word reply mean?" but, "What feeling did it touch?" The answer is not certainty. It's vulnerability. She feels unimportant. Once she names that, the loop softens. Not completely, not magically, but enough. She puts one note in her phone. Ask tomorrow if something feels off. Don't solve it tonight. Then she places the phone away, breathes out longer than she breathes in, and lets the question remain unfinished. That is not failure. That is emotional maturity. Knowing the difference between something that needs attention and something that does not need to be solved at midnight. So here's the reframe. Your mind won't shut off at night because it is broken. It won't shut off because it has been working overtime to protect you, prepare you, explain things, prevent pain, and create certainty. That doesn't mean every thought is true. It means every thought is trying to do a job. Tonight, try one tiny action. Before bed, write 3 lines. One thing my mind is carrying is. One feeling underneath it might be. One thing I can do tomorrow, not tonight, is. That's it. You are not arguing with your brain. You are giving it a place to put the weight down. And if your thoughts still come, meet them with this: "I hear you. We're not solving this now." For the next 24 hours, notice one nighttime thought and label it memory, worry, prediction, or feeling. Drop a comment with the one that shows up most for you. And subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because it connects directly to this. If you imagine fake scenarios, this is why. That video is on screen now. I'll meet you there in the next one.